Hello everyone. Namaste to all gadgeted officers, future IAS, IPS, doctors, surgeons. I wanted to quote, education is not the feeling of a pain, but the lighting of a fire. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we continue our gastrointestinal tract series part 6, where I will explain the endocrine function of the pancreas. We will discuss the important antagonistic hormones secreted by the pancreas. Their role in maintaining glucose balance and related disorders like diabetes, pancreatitis, and pancreatic cancer. In the previous video of gastrointestinal tract part 5, we discussed the exocrine function of pancreas in detail. If you have not watched that, kindly go through it for better understanding. On my channel, apart from biology series, you will also find English grammar videos for SSC, SBI, IBPS, ACIO, RRB, NDA, CDS, UPSC, BPSC, and other competitive exams. Weekly current affairs, science, and technology updates, especially curated for UPSC, BPSC, state PCS, and other exams. The next biology video will be gastrointestinal tract part 7, where I will explain the small intestine and large intestine in detail. The next current affairs video will be uploaded tomorrow, and in English grammar, we are continuing with subject verb agreement part 2, clauses part 2, and idioms part 4. Don't miss them. Let me start with a thought. The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. My dear aspirants, my dear students, my dear gadgeted officers, the beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. After watching this video, if you found this video is helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more detailed explanation. Let's get started. Endocrine function of pancreas. So, pancreas is a long, slender organ which is located posterior to the bottom half of the stomach, which I explained in the previous video also. So, it is primarily an exocrine gland which secretes different types of digestive enzymes, help in digestion, and it also acts as a endocrine function, also secretes different type of hormones. So, its pancreatic islets, look at the image, there is a cluster of cell which is known as the islet of Langerhans, which secretes alpha, beta, gamma, delta cells like that, which secretes insulin, glucagon, somatostatin, and pancreatic polypeptides. So, pancreas serve as a both mixed gland which act as a both exocrine, secretes digestive juices for digestion, and then it also secretes hormones which also help in digestion and maintaining blood glucose level in your body. So pancreatic enzymes which help in the proper breakdown of food into smaller particles. Main enzymes are lipase, protease, and amylase. Trypsin, which is also called protease. Trypsin is also called protease, which help in breakdown of protein. So pancreatic enzymes, the most important trypsin, also called protease, which help down in breakdown of proteins. Lipase, protease, amylase, chymotrypsin, pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase. These are the enzymes which help in the digestion of food. So these enzymes are normally secreted into the first part of a small intestine via pancreatic duct and work together with bile, which is coming from liver, and help in the proper digestion of food. So pancreas contain two primarily type of cells: exocrine cells, which help in the secretion of different types of digestive juices, digestive enzymes. Endocrine cell, which are cluster endocrine cells are cluster of these cells, and these are called islet of Langerhans. So islets of Langerhans located throughout the pancreas and contains different types of endocrine cell. We have seen in the previous slide image islet of Langerhans, which is scattered throughout the pancreas, and it is consist of alpha, beta, delta, epsilon, and epsilon cells. So it secretes glucagon, insulin, gastrin, amylin, somatostatin, ghrelin, and pancreatic polypeptide. So main function of the pancreas is to make digestive juices with the help of pancreatic enzymes, which is the function, exocrine function. It also dual function. It serve another function, which is the endocrine function. It secretes hormones, and hormone act as a messenger to different parts of the body, controlling how they function. So pancreatic hormones includes insulin which help the body to use effectively primary source of energy, glucose. Whatever you consume, the most main source of energy, primary source of energy is glucose. So insulin help the body effectively use this primary source of energy, glucose. Role of glucagon is it raises the blood glucose level if they are too low in your blood. If the blood glucose level is less in your blood, then the glucagon come into roles to maintain the blood glucose level. So there is a scattered islet of cluster of cell which is known as the islet of Langerhans, and it consists of different types of cell: alpha cell, beta cell, and and it has a exocrine acinar cells, which I'm going to explain. So islet of Langerhans, a pancreas cluster of endocrine cell which is responsible for hormone production, and these cells, cluster of endocrine cell names are, the different names are: first, alpha cell produce glucagon. Alpha cell produce glucagon, which elevates blood glucose level by stimulating the liver to release stored glucose. Stored glucose, what is the form? The stored glucose form is glycogen. So alpha cell produce glucagon, which help in increasing blood glucose level. When in your body there is a less glucose level. When there is a less glucose level in your body, that time alpha cell produce glucagon to increase blood glucose level in your body. From where it release? From liver, because in liver there is a stored form of glucose, glycogen. So alpha cell produce glucagon, stimulate liver to release glucose from glycogen, a stored form of glycogen. Glucose is called glycogen. A stored form of glucose is glycogen. Second cell is beta cell. Beta cell produce insulin, which lowers blood glucose level by facilitating glucose uptake by cell. Whenever you consume any carbohydrate meal or fat, protein, but more carbohydrate meal, so there is a breakdown of food take place and the release of glucose. So beta cell help in lowering blood glucose level by facilitating glucose to be transported to different part of cell, and in this process the glucose level will decrease. Beta cell also secretes amylin. Amylins help regulate glucose spikes. Amyloids help regulate glucose to be spikes, increase, maintaining balance. Now next is delta cell. Delta cell produce somatostatin. It maintain the balanced secretion of alpha and beta cell. It means it inhibits the secretion of other island of hormones like glucagon and insulin. So maintain the secretion between the alpha and beta cell, delta cell. Next one is the epsilon cell. Epsilon cell produces ghrelin hormone. Ghrelin hormone, which stimulates in your body appetite and also help in fat storage. Epsilon cell produce ghrelin, which stimulates appetite, which increases appetite in your body to eat anything, and also help in fat storage. Next cell is upsilon cell. Upsilon cell produce pancreatic polypeptide, which regulates different types of pancreatic secretion. Epsilon cells produce PP cell, pancreatic polypeptide cell, which hormones which regulate pancreatic secretion. So these hormone, glucagon, insulin, somatostatin, ghrelin, pancreatic polypeptides directly release into the bloodstream because these are hormones. Ductless gland, endocrine glands, so contributing to the overall regulation of your body metabolism, digestion, and other essential process. the scattered cell, which is known as the island of Langerhans, and there is a presence of acini cluster of acinar cell. Alpha cell secretes glucagon, beta cell secretes insulins, F cell secretes pancreatic polypeptide, delta cell secretes somatostatin. Pancreas contain two main type of tissue. First is island of Langerhans, S is silent, island of Langerhans, and second one is acinar cell. Acinar cells. Acinar cell, I explained in the previous video also, there is a presence of zymogen granules. I explained also. Kindly watch the previous video. Acinar cells are responsible for exocrine function, produce and secretes digestive pancreatic enzymes. Island of Langerhans making up a small portion of the pancreas, which are responsible for endocrine function, producing and secreting hormones like insulin and glucagon. Very important point. No need to confuse with acinar cell and island of Langerhans. Island of Langerhans are scattered throughout the pancreas cells, and island of Langerhans making a small portion of pancreas, and it is responsible for endocrine function of cell. Secretes hormones. Acinar cell exocrine function. A for acinar, exocrine function. It produce and secrete digestive enzymes which in zymogen granules and release into pancreatic ducts that lead to the first part of small intestine, that is duodenum, and help in the breakdown of food, help in the digestion of food. It is a function of acinar cell, means exocrine function. Acinar cell are predominant type of cell in pancreas, grape-like structures, grape-like clusters, which are called zymogen granules. Acinar cell function is it stores, secretes, produce digestive enzymes which are stored in grape-like cluster zymogen granules and released into pancreatic ducts upon stimulation. When you eat anything, then it is stimulated that time. Island of Langerhans is also present in pancreas, which secrete hormones, making a small portion of the pancreas. It has endocrine function. It secrete hormones directly, pour into the blood stream and regulating your body blood sugar levels. So, island of Langerhans endocrine function, secrete hormones and help in maintaining your body blood glucose levels, sugar levels. So they are scattered throughout the pancreas and appearing as lighter staining cluster, among the acinar cells. Hormones contain different types of cell, beta cell which secrete insulin, alpha cell glucagon, and delta cell somatostatin. So insulin lower blood glucose level by promoting glucose uptake by cell and stored as a glycogen. Extra glucose is stored as a glycogen in liver and muscle cells. So insulin is to come into role when you eat anything, when you consume anything. So breakdown of food take place, glucose is released, and then glucose is transported to different body parts, and this insulin level becomes low, and extra glucose is stored in the form of glycogen in your liver and muscle. When in your body glucose level becomes low, then glucagon come into role to raise your blood glucose level by stimulating the breakdown of glycogen which is stored in your liver and muscle, and then release of glucose. So in this way insulin and glucagon maintain the blood glucose level. Somatostatin important role is to maintain the role of insulin and glucagon. Secretion should be maintained. So regulates the secretion of insulin and glucagon. It is a role of somatostatin, which is secretion of delta cell, alpha cell glucagon, beta cell insulin. So acinar cell is a specialized cell in the pancreas that produce and secrete digestive enzymes, play important role in digestion. Is resemble like a bunch of grapes, zymogen granule, which I explained in the previous video also. So it is located in the pancreas, especially with the exocrine function, grape-like structure, which is called acini, with a central lumen, with presence of lumen where digestive enzymes are present. Acinar cell is a pyramid shape structure with round nucleus. So acinar cell synthesize, store and secrete digestive enzymes and fluid also. These enzymes are important for breakdown of carbohydrate, fat, proteins, what you consume. Acinar cell also secretes bicarbonates which neutralize stomach acid. So it makes the environment of with the help of bicarbonate, the small intestine environment secretion becomes alkaline, and it neutralizes the acidic environment of chyme, stomach chyme. As it enters the small intestine, they also secrete bicarbonates, which neutralizes stomach acid as it enters the small intestine. So this secretion is triggered by neurohormonal signals and also involved in rise in intracellular calcium. Very important point. When you eat anything, when you consume anything, when you eat carbohydrate, fat, and protein, so secretion is triggered by your brain signal, neurohormonal signals, and involves a rise in intracellular calcium also, which help plays important role in digestion also. So these enzymes and biocarbonates secreted by acinar cell are important for digestion of food and absorption of nutrients via blood vessel and lymph in the small intestine. So dysfunction of acinar of cell can lead to digestive issues including pancreatitis. It also causes acinar cells carcinoma, a rare type of pancreatic cancer that originates from acinar cell. So most important point you should note, it is an image of the patient is suffering from acinar cell carcinoma. So it is a most important thing to note. It is more common in men, in man, typically diagnosed in older adults. It is more common in man than female. Typically, it is diagnosed in older adults. Acinar cell carcinoma of the pancreas is a rare malignant tumor which spread to the different body part, representing about 1 to 2% of all pancreatic cancer. So, acinar cell cancer carcinoma originate from exocrine acinar cell of the pancreas, which are responsible for producing digestive enzymes. So this acinar cell carcinoma also has a better prognosis than pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma. So it also spread to the pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma. Symptoms can be vague, but some cases it appear with subcutaneous nodules and arthralgias. The image is visible. Some nodules are there and some swelling is there. Now, there is a one importance of acinar cell is that it has the potential, this image, it has a very important point. Acinar cell has the potential to be reprogrammed into another cell types. Very important point. Acinar cell of pancreas has the ability to be reprogrammed into other cell types, such as beta cell for type 1 diabetes treatment. If a patient is suffering from type 1 diabetes, which is a autoimmune type of diabetes. So in this case, acinar cell is reprogrammed into the other cell type, such as beta cell for type 1 diabetes treatment or precursor, and it also serve as a precursor for pancreatic cancer. So this reprogramming of acinar cell involves changing in that gene expression and epigenetic modification, change in the genetic modification. So in essence, acinar cell are very important component of digestive system, responsible for producing and releasing digestive enzymes, bicarbonates, fluids, which are necessary for breaking down food and absorbing nutrients through your blood vessel and lymph. Acinar cell also used as a reprogramming of acinar cell, such as beta cell for type 1 diabetes treatment or precursor for pancreatic cancer. So cell secretion alpha cell hormone glucagon, which makes up approximately 20% of island of hormones. Glucagon plays an important role in raising blood glucose level. When the blood glucose level is low in your body, that time Alpha cell secrete glucagon and break down your glycogen, which is stored in your liver and muscle, and and it gives glucose to your body, and in this way glucagon maintain the blood glucose level, so raising blood glucose level. Beta cell produces hormone insulin. When you eat any carbohydrate meal, it makes up approximately 75%. Most important point, beta cell makes up approximately 75% of each islet. So it help in increasing blood glucose level, stimulate the release of insulin. So increase of blood glucose level when it happens when you consume carbohydrate meal. So breakdown of carbohydrate milk into glucose take place, and that time increase in blood glucose level take place. And then afterward it is distributed to the different body parts and the glucose level become low, and then alpha cells release glucagon to balance it. Delta cell account for only 4%. Account for only 4% of islet cells and secrete the peptide hormone, and the name of that peptide hormone is somatostatin. Name of that peptide hormone is somatostatin. So recall that somatostatin is also released by your brain hypothalamus. Growth hormone, inhibitory hormones, which is in the stomach and that intestine also secrete it. So somatostatin is also released by hypothalamus as GHIH, and it is also released by your stomach and your intestine. And in it is a somatostatin is an inhibiting hormone. Pancreatic somatostatin inhibits the release of both glucagon and insulin, means maintain the release of both glucagon and insulin. Glucagon and insulin balance is maintained by somatostatin. PP cell account for only 1% of islet cells, means alpha cell 20%, beta cell 75%, delta cell 4%, PP cell only 1%. Secretes the pancreatic polypeptide hormone. So it most important role is role in appetite, giving you hunger feeling, as well as it plays important role in regulation of pancreatic exocrine endocrine secretion. PP cell give you feeling of hunger, a role in appetite, as well as it regulate the secretion of pancreatic exocrine and endocrine. So pancreatic polypeptide released following a meal may reduce further food consumption. However, it is also released in response to fasting. When you are doing fasting, that time also PP cell release to maintain the regulation of pancreatic exocrine endocrine secretion. So PP cell always released when you eat anything, and it may reduce further food consumption. No need to eat anything because it's a role in appetite. So somatostatin is released by hypothalamus, where it is also known as a growth hormone, inhibiting hormone. So these hypothalamus somatostatin plays important role in regulating the release of other hormone, primarily by inhibiting the secretion of growth hormone from the pituitary glands. So hypothalamus, you know about the region in the brain. Look, kindly look at images given in the slide. So look at the image. Hypothalamus, a region in the brain, act as a control center for many uh, bodily function, including hormone release, anterior pituitary, posterior pituitary. So it's also one of the key function of hypothalamic hormone is to suppress the release of growth hormone from the anterior pituitary gland. So it also plays an important role in suppressing the release of growth hormone from anterior pituitary. Another inhibitory function of somatostatin is it also inhibit the release of other hormones, which is called thyroid stimulating hormone and some pancreatic hormone. Very important point. Somatostatin is released by the hypothalamus. So it is produced by the hypothalamus. It functions as an inhibitory hormone. Means inhibitory hormones which it suppress the growth of growth hormone, release of growth hormone from where? From anterior part side of a pituitary gland. So somatostatin inhibit the release of other hormone also, just such as thyroid stimulating hormone and some pancreatic hormone. So while the hypothalamus is a primary source, somatostatin is also most important point. Again, note somatostatin is not only released by hypothalamus, it is also produced by other tissues, including pancreas. Pancreas, specifically by delta cell of pancreas, secretes somatostatin, and also it is in your GI tract, gastrointestinal tract. Somatostatin by stomach. Somatostatin is a growth inhibiting hormone. It is a peptide hormone, plays important role in regulatory role in endocrine system, released by hypothalamus as well as by GI tract, means a small intestine, stomach and intestine, and act as a inhibiting hormone in the pancreas, where it suppresses the release of both glucagon and insulin. So in this way it maintain the amount of insulin and glucagon in your body. Hypothalamus releases a somatostatin, which is known as a growth inhibiting hormone. It means it inhibit the release of growth hormone from your pituitary gland. This somatostatin is also produced and secrete as your gastrointestinal tract, and that organ is a stomach and intestine. It also produce and secrete is somatostatin. Pancreas somatostatin is specifically from delta cell within the island of Langerhans, which is act as a local regulator, regulate the amount of insulin and glucagon in your body, inhibit the secretion of both insulin from beta cell and glucagon from alpha cell, plays a very important role in maintaining blood glucose level in your body. So overall function of somatostatin is to inhibit the release of insulin and glucagon, help to maintain blood sugar balance, and help in regulating. It also help in digestion also, because it is also produced by stomach and intestine. Somatostatin has also effect on neurotransmitter and cell proliferation. Again, important point. Somatostatin has also effects on your neurotransmitters and cell proliferation. Somatostatin's role is in the brain and pituitary also, in eye also, in gastrointestinal tract, in pancreas also, in adrenals gland also. Brain and pituitary is inhibition of NEDA, CRH, TRH, TSH. So NE stand for if epinephrine, which is also known as noradrenaline. So NE is a neurotransmitter which plays important role in fight or flight response when you are in stress, and involved in regulating mood, arousal, and memory. Then brain in pituitary is also inhibition of DA. DA means dopamine. CRH means corticotropin releasing hormone. TRH means it also inhibit thyroid releasing hormones. Then thyroid stimulating hormone. It also inhibit growth hormone. I, it also act as the inhibition of VEGF. VEGF means vascular endothelial growth factor. Means it in eye in somatostatin secretion inhibits VEGF. Vascular endothelial growth factors. It is a signaling protein that plays an important role in the growth of new blood vessel, which is called angiogenesis. Now, somatostatin in your gastrointestinal tracts in your stomach and intestine reduce the secretion of gastrin, secretin, gastric gland, motin, cholecystokinin, introglucagon, VIP. VIP stands for vasoactive intestinal peptide, then pepsin, GIP, gastric inhibitory peptide, neurotensin, intrinsic factors, and bile. In pancreas, it reduces the secretion of glucagon, insulin, and polypeptide. In adrenal glands, it which is above the kidney, inhibit the secretion of medullary catecholamine and aldosterone. Aldosterone is a hormone which is produced by your adrenal gland. It is not produced by your kidney. So, adrenal gland plays an important role in kidney function. It is a mineralocorticoid which help the maintain your blood pressure and electrolyte balance. Adrenal gland plays important role in your maintaining your blood pressure and electrolyte balance in your body, specifically sodium, potassium, by acting on kidney. So, these are the inhibitory function of somatostatin. So, cell and secretion of pancreatic cell, we have seen alpha cell 20%, low blood glucose level stimulates it release. Beta cell 75%, elevated blood glucose level stimulate the release of insulin. Delta cell account for 4% and of islet cell secretes peptide hormone. Hypothalamus release also released by hypothalamus and your gastrointestinal tract act as inhibit the release of both glucagon and insulin. PP cell 1%, and it is thought to be play a role in appetite as well as in the regulation of pancreatic exocrine and endocrine function. So pancreatic alpha cells secretes glucagon, breakdown of glycogen, which is a stored form of glucose in your liver and muscle, increase the glucose level in the blood. Insulin, when you eat, consume, when you eat carbohydrate, bread, chapati, rice, banana, etc., carbohydrate meals. Then that time after the breakdown of this carbohydrate, that glucose level increase. So beta cell of pancreas secrete insulin, increase the membrane permeability. Membrane should be permeable for glucose. Amount of glucose oxidation in tissue increase, and then afterward it transported to the different body parts through blood vessel and leave, and in turn it lowers the blood glucose level in your blood. Then extra glucose is stored in liver and muscle in the form of glycogen. It also help in lowering the protein breakdown. Somatostatin, inhibition of release of gastrointestinal hormones, which I explained you also, and also maintain the secretion of insulin and glucagon in your body. In this way, it maintain the blood glucose level in your body. PP cell pancreatic polypeptides self-regulate the pancreas secretion activities and affect the hepatic glycogen levels. It also act in your plays an important role in your appetites, and also regulate the pancreas secretion activities, how the pancreas secretion take place, and it also affect the hepatic glycogen levels. So alpha cell secrete glucagon and beta cell secrete insulin. So whenever you consume anything, so blood carbohydrate product, chapati, bread, rice, bananas, like carbohydrate meal when you are consuming, so that time insulin, beta cell secrete insulin. So your blood glucose level increase, because after the breakdown of carbohydrate, glucose we will get produced in your blood, so blood glucose level will increase. So beta cells secrete insulin. Insulin act on cell throughout the body in a number of different ways, and afterward it result in a decrease in your blood sugar. So what are the process the insulin will do in your body when there is an increase in blood glucose level? It increase facilitated diffusion of glucose out of the blood and into the cell. Into the cell, it also transport glucose into the cell out of the blood by increasing the number of glucose transporters. It also act on amino acid, increase amino acid uptake into cell and increase protein synthesis. It also increase fatty acid synthesis. It extra glucose, when it is not transported, it is not required in your body, then it converts extra glucose into glycogen, which is stored in your liver and muscle. Then insulin also stimulate lipolysis, means breakdown of stored triglyceride into fatty acid and glycerol. So these are the process done by the insulin when you consume any carbohydrate food, elevated blood glucose level. So it increase facilitated diffusion of glucose out of the blood into the cell, increase amino acid synthesis, increase fatty acid synthesis, convert extra glucose into glycogen and stored in your liver and muscle. It also help in breakdown of a stored triglyceride into fatty acid and glycerol. So it stimulates lipolysis. But insulin decreases gluconeogenesis. Very important point. Insulin decreases gluconeogenesis, means it is a metabolic pathway that help in making glucose from non-carbohydrate precursors like lactate, glycerol, amino acid, and which happen primarily in liver and kidney. So insulin decrease gluconeogenesis. It is not permitting glucose to be made from non-carbohydrate sources. So it is a reverse of glycolysis. So gluconeogenesis is important for maintaining blood glucose level, especially during fasting or starvation. Because you're during fasting or starvation, your brain need energy. So gluconeogenesis is important for blood glucose level when you are not consuming anything, when you are not eating anything, when you are in fasting, when you are in starvation. So insulin decrease gluconeogenesis. Point should be noted. And then in your body, when the blood glucose is transported and used, then your in your body glucose level becomes low. So that time alpha cell secrete glucagon. So low blood glucose levels stimulate the alpha cell to secrete glucagon. So what glucagon will do? Glucagon will go to your liver and break down the stored glycogen into glucose. And that process is known as a glycogenolysis. And then breakdown of glycogen into glucose, which process is known as a glycogenolysis. This glucose is then released into your blood and help in raising blood glucose levels. Glucogen also stimulates your liver to take up amino acid from the blood and then converts amino acid into glucose. That process is known as a gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis. So glucagon increase gluconeogenesis. How? It will inform liver there is a less glucose in your body. So it first what it will do, it will break down glycogen which is stored in your liver and muscle and break down glycogen into glucose and transport it to the different body parts for blood circulation. Second, it will also say your liver to take amino acid from the blood and make glucose from amino acid, and that process is known as a gluconeogenesis. In this way it will also give glucose to the blood. Some of the free glycerols traveling near the liver, where it is converted to glucose. So it is another form of gluconeogenesis. So in this way alpha cell secrete glucagon, maintain the level of blood glucose level, increase the level of blood glucose level. So both alpha cell and beta cell act antagonistic. Beta cell activate when there is an increase in blood glucose level. When you eat carbohydrate meal, alpha cell secrete glucagon when in your body there is a low blood glucose level. So glycosenolysis and gluconeogenesis. Glycosenolysis, breakdown of stored glycogen from your liver and muscle, which is a quick release of glucose, short-term needs, release from liver and muscle, short-term need. Gluconeogenesis, synthesis from non-carbohydrate precursor, maintaining blood glucose levels during lack of glucose, prolonged lack of glucose. So gluconeogenesis, from where it happens? From your liver and kidney. And it is a long-term process. So lysis means breakdown. Glycogen into glucose from your liver and muscle, and glucose into lactic acid, glycolysis. Then lactic acid into glucose, gluconeogenesis, formation, glucose formed into glycogen is glycogenesis. So making new glucose is glycogenesis, and breaking down glycogen is glycosenolysis. Glycolysis is breaking down of glucose and gluconeogenesis is making new glucose from non-carbohydrate precursors, help in maintaining blood glucose level, gluconeogenesis, and it happened in your liver and kidney. Very important point. Gluconeogenesis happen in your liver and kidney. Glycosenolysis happen in your liver and muscle. Glycosenolysis short term and gluconeogenesis long term during prolonged lack of glucose. So it is the same process, glycosenolysis and glyconeogenesis. Lysis means breakdown of glycogen stored in your liver and muscle into glucose, and then it transported into your bloodstream to raise blood sugar level, particularly during short-term fasting or period of increased energy demand. When you are doing heavy exercise, you are running, so that time glycosenolysis will happen. So it primarily occur in your liver and muscles. That's hormone involved in glycosenolysis. It is short-term process because your body demands short-term when you are in short-term fasting, or increase energy demand when you running or you're doing heavy exercise. So that time glycosenolysis, breakdown of glycogen stored in your liver and muscle and into glucose, which gives you energy. So the hormone used in this glycosenolysis is glucagon from your liver. From your muscle, hormone you involved is epinephrine. Very important point. Kindly note down, my dear students. Glucagon in the liver, epinephrine in muscle stimulate glycosenolysis, while insulin inhibits it. Insulin always work when there is a elevated blood glucose level. So in this case, there is a high blood glucose level. So low blood glucose levels, we have to maintain the blood glucose level with the help of glycosenolysis. Hormone like glucagon in the liver and epinephrine in muscle stimulate glycosenolysis so that the low blood glucose level will be maintained. Gluconeogenesis, same synthesis of new glucose molecule from where? From non-carbohydrate sources. And it happened during when you are doing prolonged fasting, prolonged starvation, or whatever the carbohydrate you are taking, that glucose is not enough for your body. So that time gluconeogenesis happened, and the body demands making glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. So most important point, it is in hormone involved is glucagon and cortisol. Glucagon and cortisol. Glucagon liver, cortisol kidney. It helps in gluconeogenesis, synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. So example of non-carbohydrate precursor are lactic acid produced by your muscle during heavy exercise, glycerol, which is formed from the breakdown of triglycerides and certain amino acids. So same when you consume any carbohydrate food, rice, bread, banana, which is full of carbohydrates. It raises blood glucose levels, high blood sugar, so promote insulin release. Pancreas secrete insulin, then it is transported through the glucose, transported to the different tissue cell, then extra glucose stored in the form of glycogen in your extra glucose stored in your liver in the form of glycogen, then it becomes in the body blood glucose level low because it is glucose is transported to the different body parts. When it low blood glucose levels, it promotes glucagon release. Glucagon act on stored glycogen, and then it break down stored glycogen into glucose to give energy, and it helps in increase in blood sugar. So in this way, glucagon and insulin act antagonisting. Insulin when high glucose level, glucagon when low glucose level, both of them act to maintain the blood glucose level in body. So alpha cell 70%, beta cell 17%, beta 70%, delta 7%, F for PP cell 6%, alpha glucagon, beta insulin, delta somatostatin, PP cell, F cell, PP cell is also called F cell 6%, pancreatic polypeptide, or sometimes somewhere it is given 1%. So increase blood glucose levels, beta cell reduce blood glucose level, delta cell inhibits insulin and glucagon release, means maintain the release of both alpha and beta cell. PP cell, which is also called F cell, role in appetite, role in hunger, may cause feeling of satiety, satisfaction after eating, but also release in response to fasting. Regulates pancreatic, endocrine, and exocrine secretion. So regulation of blood glucose level by insulin and glucagon, we have seen the body take glucose from the breakdown of carbohydrate containing food and drinks we consume. Glucose not immediately taken up by the cell for fuel and to get the energy. Some extra glucose is stored in the form of glycogen in your liver and muscle. or some are converted in the form of triglycerides, and these glycerides are stored in your adipose tissue. So hormones regulate pancreatic hormones regulate the both the storage and utilization of glucose as required. There are a receptor which is present in your pancreas sense blood glucose levels, and subsequently the pancreatic cell secretes glucagon or insulin to maintain normal blood glucose level in your body. So primary function of insulin is to facilitate the uptake of glucose into body cell when you consume carbohydrate meal. Red blood cell as well as the cell of the brain, liver, kidney and lining of small intestine do not have insulin receptor on their cell membranes and do not require insulin for glucose uptake. Very important point. Student, kindly note down. Red blood cell, your RBC, your brain, your liver, your kidney and the lining of small intestine do not have insulin receptors on their cell membranes. They do not require insulin for glucose intake. Although all other body cells do require insulin if they are to take glucose from the bloodstream. Skeletal muscle cell, because it voluntary, it does many function. Skeletal muscle cell, adipose cell are the primary targets of insulin. Skeletal muscle cell and adipose cell are the primary targets of insulin. Adipose cell, there is a deposition of fat cell, triglycerides, and skeletal muscle cell also there is a deposition of glycogen. So these are the primary target of insulin. The presence of food in the intestine, the presence of food in the intestine triggered the release of gastrointestinal tract of hormone such as glucose dependent insulinotropic hormone, which is known as a gastric inhibitory peptide. When you eat anything and the food goes inside your intestine, it triggers the release of GIT hormone, gastrointestinal tract hormone, and which is known as a glucose dependent insulinotropic peptide, which is previously called gastric inhibitory peptide. So these in turn the initial trigger for this in turn trigger insulin production and secretion by the beta cell of the pancreas. Once nutrient absorption occurs with the help of your blood vessel and lymph, the resulting increase in blood glucose level further stimulates insulin secretion. So in this way, the insulin come into role. And then there is an increase in blood glucose level. So precisely how insulin facilitates glucose uptake is not entirely clear. However, insulin appears to activate a tyrosine kinase receptor. Insulin appears to activate a tyrosine kinase receptor of pancreas, triggering the phosphorylation of many substrates within the cell. These multiple biochemical reactions converge to support the movement of intracellular vesicle which contain glucose transporters to the cell membrane. If there is an absence of insulin, these transport protein are normally recycled slowly between the cell membrane and cell and interior. So insulin triggers the rapid movement of pool of glucose transporters vesicle to the cell membranes. Insulin all need the rapid movement of glucose transporter vesicles to the cell membrane, where they fuse and expose the glucose transporters to the extracellular fluid. So the transporter then move glucose by facilitated diffusion into the cell interior. So these are the method of insulin, how it is absorbed and transported to the cell interior with the help of blood vessels and lymph. So these glucose are transported by with the help of facilitated diffusion into the cell interior. So insulin also reduces blood glucose levels by stimulating glycolysis. The metabolism of glycolysis is the metabolism of glucose with the help of glycolysis there is a generation of ATP take place. So insulin also reduces blood glucose level by stimulating glycolysis glucose into pyruvic acid, and the metabolism of glucose take place for generation of ATP. Moreover, insulin also stimulates the liver to convert excess glucose to be stored into glycogen, and it inhibits enzymes involved in glycosenolysis and gluconeogenesis. So it also insulin inhibits enzymes involved in glycogenolysis and gluconeogenesis. This process I explained. So it also inhibits this process. It also inhibits this process. This process will happen when there is a glucagon come in role, glycosenolysis and gluconeogenesis. Finally, insulin promotes triglycerides and protein synthesis. The secretion of insulin is regulated through a negative feedback mechanism. As blood glucose level decrease, further insulin release is inhibited. So the pancreatic hormones are insulin, protein reduces blood glucose level, glucagon protein increases blood glucose level, somatostatin inhibit, and pancreatic peptide role in appetite. So the secretion of insulin is regulated through negative feedback mechanism. What does it mean? It means when there is an increase in blood glucose levels, insulin come into roles. When there is a decrease, that time insulin secretion is inhibited. Then that time a role will come, and that is the alpha cell of glucagon to raise the blood glucose level. So blood glucose level, liver, body cell take up glucose. Look this slide. When you consume carbohydrate meal, body cell take up glucose after breakdown of carbohydrate into glucose. Liver takes glucose and stored as glycogen. Insulin, pancreatic beta cell release insulin into blood stream. So blood glucose level increase stimulus, and normal level is 70 milligram deciliter to 130 mg/dl blood glucose. When blood glucose level increase, that time now blood glucose level decrease, that time stimulus is pancreas alpha cell release glucagon into bloodstream. Glucagon come into role. Liver break down glycogen to release glucose. So in this way, insulin and glucagon maintain the blood glucose level. Normal blood glucose level is between 70 to 130 mg/dl. So glycosenolysis, gluconeogenesis are both pathways which involve in maintaining blood glucose level, but they do in different path. We have explained this one, everything. So hormones like glucagon and epinephrine in muscle stimulate glycosenolysis, while insulin inhibits its. Hormones like glucagon and cortisol stimulates gluconeogenesis, while insulin inhibits it. Because this glucogenolysis comes into role when there is a low glucose in your body. So same insulin release, beta cell of pancreas releases insulin, splenic artery, insulin affects trigger body cell to take up glucose from the blood and utilize in cellular respiration, inhibits glycosenolysis. Glucose is removed from the blood and stored at glycogen in the livers, inhibits gluconeogenesis. Amino acid and free glycerol are not converted to glucose in the endoplasmic reticulum. Blood glucose concentration decreases. So blood glucose concentration decreases. Then what happens when it increases? Elevated blood glucose level is called hyperglycemia. Decreases blood glucose level is hypoglycemia, below 50 mg/dl. Increase below 150, more than 150 is hyperglycemia. When blood glucose level increases, that time what happened? Blood glucose level increases, insulin come into role. When blood glucose level decreases, glucagon come into role, inhibits body cell from taking up glucose from the blood and utilize it in a cellular respiration, stimulate glycosenolysis, stimulate gluconeogenesis. So glycogen in the liver is broken down to release into the blood, and gluconeogenesis means amino acid and free glycerol are converted to glucose in the endoplasmic reticulum and released into the blood. So glucagon release, alpha cell of pancreas release glucagon to splenic artery when you are suffering from hypoglycemia. Your blood glucose level is low, below 50 mg per dl. And then beta cell release insulin when your blood glucose level is high, hyperglycemia, more than 160 mg per dl. So in this way, both the hormone insulin and glucagon maintain your normal blood glucose level between 70 to 100. So hyperglycemia, same is process is given, stimulus rising blood glucose levels after eating a carbohydrate-rich meal. Beta cell pancreas stimulate to release insulin into the blood. Body cell take up more glucose stored in the form of glycogen in liver and muscle. Blood glucose level decline to a set point. Stimulate for insulin release diminishes. Then blood glucose level become low. So alpha cell of pancreas stimulate to release glucagon into the blood. Glucagon liver break down glycogen and release glucose to the blood. Blood glucose level rises to set point and stimulus for glucagon releases diminishes. So in this way, your blood homeostasis is maintained. Blood, so hyperglycemia is more than 120 mg and hypoglycemia is less than 80 mg. When the body is in a state of hyperglycemia, a blood glucose level are elevated, increase. Sensor in the pancreas detect this and stimulate the beta cell to increase their release of insulin. When blood glucose level drop below 80 mg, putting their body is in a state of hypoglycemia, the alpha cell are stimulated and glucagon is released. So in this way, homeostasis, blood homeostasis is maintained. So how the glucagon function? There is also receptor in the pancreas. Pancreas receptor in the pancreas when there is a decline in a blood glucose level take place during period of fasting or during prolonged labor or exercise, glucagon come into act and the receptor in the pancreas can sense the decline in blood glucose levels. When during fasting or during prolonged labor or exercise. In response, the alpha cell of pancreas secrete the hormone glucagon. So it stimulates the liver to convert stores of glycogen back into glucose. So process called glycosenolysis. The glucose is then released into the circulation for use by body cell. It also stimulates the liver to take up amino acid from the blood and convert them into glucose. Process is called gluconeogenesis. It also stimulates lipolysis, the breakdown of stored triglyceride into free fatty acid and glycerol. Some of this free glycerol released into the bloodstream travel to the liver, which converts into glucose. It is also called gluconeogenesis. So glucagon taken together, this action increase blood glucose level. So the activity of glucagon is also regulated through negative feedback mechanism. Rising blood glucose level inhibit further glucagon production and secretion. So it is the regulation of glucagon release, decrease blood glucose and alpha cell secrete glucagon. At that time, beta cell and delta cell is inhibitory and central control sympathetic, parasympathetic stimulatory and gastrointestinal hormone is in stimulation. Same somatostatin will always inhibit both insulin and glucagon release. Somatostatin maintains the alpha cell and beta cell. It acts as a stimulatory and inhibitory also. So it acts as an inhibitory. Alpha cell and beta cell come into role when there is an increase and decrease in blood glucose level, and delta cell always act as an inhibitory. Secretion of insulin from beta cell take place when there is an increase in blood glucose level when you eat carbohydrate rich food. So beta cell secrete insulin, alpha cell come into roles, gastrointestinal hormone also, parasympathetic system also, and inhibitory is delta cell and sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic means in stress. So regulatory input that control glucagon release, gastrointestinal hormone stimulate the alpha cell to release glucagon through a feed forward system. What is the system? Is feed forward system when there is a decrease in blood glucose levels. So the mechanism of feed forward system are similar to the one which is used to regulate insulin, except in this case the body is preparing for the absence of incoming nutrients. So the gastrointestinal hormone stimulate the alpha cell are secreted much later in the digestive process and further down the digestive tract than used to regulate insulin. So the release of this set of gastrointestinal hormones signal the body that digestion is almost done and no more food is coming. You are not going to eat anything and digestion is completed. So this signal is gone to your brain. So in anticipation of this, the gastrointestinal hormone stimulate the alpha cell to increase production of glucagon. So what are the central control of glucagon? Intervention of the pancreas by central nervous system. So neural inputs from both the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system stimulate the alpha cell to release glucagon. Points should be noted. Neural inputs from both the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system stimulate the alpha cell to release glucagon. This is one of the rare occasions in the body where both systems carry out the same function. Very important point. For glucagon secretion, both parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system work. So sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic system typically work in opposition, with the sympathetic nervous system preparing the body for stress, SS, stress, and parasympathetic nervous system maintaining homeostatic and rest function. But in neural input from both parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system stimulate the alpha cell to release glucagon. So this is one of the rare occasion in your body where two systems carry out the same function. It's a very important point should be noted. Central control of glucagon includes intervention of the pancreas by both parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Now, gastrointestinal tract hormone stimulate the beta cell to release insulin through the feed forward system. The presence of food in the gastrointestinal tract causes the release of hormone, including gastrin, secretin, and cholecystokinin. The release of this hormone indicate the product of digestion, it means glucose, fat, and amino acid will soon be absorbed and enter the bloodstream. So in anticipation of this, the gastrointestinal hormone stimulate the beta cell to increase insulin production. Insulin then travel to different tissues through the body and prepare them for arrival and uptake of incoming nutrients. So in this way, regulatory inputs take place. Central control of insulin is achieved through intervention of pancreas by central nervous system, and it is central control of beta cell can be further divided into neural inputs from the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system, which control our body's rest and digest function, stimulate the beta cell to release insulin. Conversely, the sympathetic nervous system, which control the body's fight or flight function, inhibit the beta cell from releasing insulin. Very important point. Parasympathetic nervous system stimulate beta cell to release insulin. Conversely, the sympathetic nervous system inhibit the beta cell from releasing insulin. So it is about the when your plasma glucagon, glucose, and insulin levels increase and decrease, and 8 a.m., 4 p.m., 8 p.m., 2 a.m., 8 a.m. This time you are not eating anything, so it is in same concentration. So how plasma concentration of glucose and glucagon and insulin changes over a 24-hour period. So overview of insulin response to hyperglycemia. When a high blood glucose levels, it affects the liver, it affects muscle and adipose tissue. So insulin is more, it affects liver and muscle. Glycolysis, glucose transport take place, lipogenesis take place, then plasma glucose level reduce. When effects of insulin on liver and muscle cell and adipose cell during the absorptive stage of digestion, how the absorption take place. So effect of insulin on liver: when you eat digested nutrients enter your bloodstream from the intestine, blood sugar concentration increase. Then pancreas come into role. It secretes insulin, release digested nutrients into the blood, stimulates insulin release by the pancreas. Insulin increase the uptake of glucose by all body cell, reducing blood glucose concentration and back to homeostasis. Then it come into role of liver cell, muscle cell, adipose tissue. In the absorptive state, liver cell convert excess glucose into glycogen for storage, and muscle cell also in the form of glycogen, and in your adipose tissue it is stored in the form of excess lipids, increasing fat reserve as triglycerides. Now, overview of glucagon response to when there is a low glucose level in your body, hypoglycemia. So low glucose level, so high to increase alpha cell of pancreas, then stimulate glucagon, and then act on liver, adipose tissue, and muscle. Then process take place, glycosenolysis, gluconeogenesis, and then plasma glucose level increase and negative feedback take place. And it is used by brain and peripheral tissues. Hypoglycemia, glucagon, how it acts. So effect of insulin on liver, muscle cell, and adipose cell during the post-absorptive stage. The effect of glucagon on skeletal muscle. So what is the effect of glucagon when there is a decrease in blood glucose levels? So post-absorptive states, there is a no nutrients enter the bloodstream from the digestive system. The pancreas secretes glucagon alpha cell. So sugar concentration in blood drop. It reduces, stimulate the pancreas to stop releasing insulin and instead in release glucagon. Then in act on liver cell, muscle cell, and adipose cell. And in the absorptive stage, post-absorptive stage, it take place glycosenolysis, and in and act on the glucose is released into the blood, returning blood glucose concentration to homeostasis, catabolize amino acid from muscle and protein, and help in the generation of ATP after undergoing ketogenesis and ketone oxidation. Then it act on adipose cell also in the post-absorptive stage. Adipose cell release stored lipids which can be used to generate glucose, ketone bodies, or ATP. So in this way, when there is a less glucose in your body, and how the glucagon act on your body cell. So glucagon and insulin are antagonistic, which I explained. It is a revision purpose in short way. Kindly note down in your notebook and try to understand with all the process which I have explained already. So next, insulin and glucagon uptake, insulin uptake and storage of glucose, glucagon, liberation of glucose, insulin, act on skeletal muscle cell, adipocytes and liver cell, glucagon act on adipocyte and liver cell. Insulin activates anabolic pathway, means it synthesizes enzymes. Glucagon catabolic pathway, means breakdown enzymes. Enzymes involved is insulin hexokinase, glucokinase, glycogen synthetase, phosphofructokinase, pyruvate dehydrogenase, pyruvate kinase, acetyl coenzyme, carboxylase, fatty acid synthetase. So insulin increase glucose uptake, glycolysis, glycogen synthesis, and triglyceride synthesis take place. Glucagon activates catabolic process, means breakdown process. Enzyme involved is glucose 6-phosphate glycogen phosphorylase. Glucagon increase glucose release, glycosenolysis, gluconeogenesis, and lipolysis. So these are about the insulin and glucagon differentiation. This figure says how the blood normal glucose level homeostasis is maintained, which is between the 70 to 100 mg. Blood normal glucose level maintained. Beta cell secrete insulin, increase the rate of glucose transported in target cell, increase rate of glucose utilization and ATP generation, then increase conversion of glucose to glycogen stored in liver, skeletal muscle, increase amino acid absorption and protein synthesis, increase triglyceride synthesis. So blood glucose level declines Then afterward, there is a role of glycogen. Alpha cell secrete glucagon, increase breakdown of glycogen to glucose from liver and skeletal muscle, increase breakdown of fat to fatty acid from adipose tissue, increase synthesis and release of glucose from liver. So in this way, blood homeostasis is maintained. Normal glucose level is maintained, that is between 70 to 110. So homeostasis disturbed when there is a rise in blood glucose level. Homeostatic disturbed when there is a decline in blood glucose level. So this figure outline which I explained you already, hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. In the next video, we will learn about the pancreatic disorders. Kindly watch the next series. Thanks for watching. Stay consistent. Stay preparing. Best of luck for your future preparation.